now I'm going to start the second panel. Petri, just continue.
Thank you. Does the audience have a question in the beginning? I thought so. So I was informed by my wife that there's this book out called How Brands Grow. And many of you guys emphasize the sort of, you need to have enough eyeballs, you need to be out there, you need to launch in simultaneously in many countries, you need to, if you're in 30 countries, you need to have enough muscle in every country to be able to break it. Can you a little bit elaborate on how much money you guys would spend on the more tactical stuff and the more channel-oriented stuff and the more sort of operative stuff versus then the branding, creative aspect, that kind of stuff? Just a split, what's your take on how much of the money is being put into tactical versus truly creative?
Well, I have to be honest, like I'm now working like fully focused on games marketing. So working with mobile games, you basically trying to build a sustainable business where all growth comes only through revenue. So it's completely inadvisable to like spend an extreme amount of money for a big spike and then like just die out of the market. So I would say that pretty much 90%, 95% of my money and budget goes to the execution. It's really like performance marketing.
Okay, let me add something there. How do you know that it's right? So what's the budget, and how would you have any clue that it shouldn't be 20 or 2?
I look at the current revenue growth and I have a happy smile.
Ah, good. Well, that's a start.
Yeah, if I say as well, have to be honest that what happened with Reima during the past 2 years is that as Russian ruble weakened, so we've lost kind of 2 years of cash flow with the ruble weakening. So I would have put more money into creative than I have been able to afford.
What is it approximately, just to give people a gist?
Well, of course we have like 8 in-house designers. If I take them who are working with many digital also, probably half at half.
Okay.
If I take those salary costs as well.
Okay. So how do you know it's how do you know that it's right?
Well, I've done it growth profitably.
Okay, so you analyze profitable growth. Good.
Yes.
I'm not very good with numbers, but I think originally what we did at Sound was we spent all the money we had on creating products, creating new products, and then a little bit of money on throwing a party and having some beer, and a little bit of money on very cheap PR agencies around the world, and it was very, very successful in the beginning.
Yeah. How much money did you spend? How many countries did you launch it in simultaneously when you had the global?
Another number question.
Yeah.
30.
30. Okay. How much money did you put into actually making that happen? Because people need to travel, you need to agree, you need to contract, you need to make concessions, you need to give marketing, promotion money, you need to pay for the shelf space.
Yeah. No, very, very little. I mean,
how did you manage not spending an awful lot on the performance marketing of a retail business?
Because I think we launched most of our products in fashion stores, more smaller stores, because we'd seen this happen before with sunglasses, with a lot of other different lifestyle products, even like energy drinks and all those things, that you have to start somewhere in the grassroots where people understand or are interested in the new things, and then slowly merge into the big box electronic stores.
Yeah, so availability is key, not necessarily scale in the very beginning of where
exactly.
You go. Okay, question for everybody. Where did you get the people who make these decisions? Okay, you're on a detour back home, near Hunstul, but where do you get where do you source the people who are able to use marketing and branding to grow the companies? Like where did they come from?
I'm not sure I understood the question.
Yeah.
You have some hired people.
Yeah, exactly. Where did you find them? Who are they? Where did you hire? A lot of people here are thinking about hiring one more person to accelerate their growth with marketing, branding, and design.
Hiring people sucks.
Yeah, I know.
It's like being on the longest blind date. But the first guy I hired, I went to school with, and our teacher told me that I did really good presentations and really bad jobs. And then she told David that he did really good jobs and really bad presentations, so I hired him.
Okay, good.
But
The last guy I hired, I spent 2 years trying to sell a shitty advertising platform to him, and he didn't buy it. So as a service, or maybe this service, he's now working for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love him. Like for example, we recently, like when in gaming, mobile gaming, you soft launch products, so you release them in one limited market before global release, just to see if they're viable. And usually you go to like small countries, like sort of niche countries. But you want to go to English-speaking countries. You want to go like you release in Australia or Canada instead of going to US, because then you can make like a big splash in US, and people like the consumer behavior is relatively similar. So we've been like going into New Zealand and smaller markets, and I noticed that they just like put out one of these soft launch games in the UK, which is a quite prominent market. So I went and asked, like, I'm not telling you that there's anything wrong with it, but why UK? And it's like we're paying for installs, like we're paying half in the UK than we're paying in Australia. I'm like, okay. And then he added, why torture ourselves?
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. Why indeed torture ourselves?
So to have a sort of a global reach and go for global doesn't have to mean that you need to do it the hard way. You can also do it the easy way. Go to fashion stores, pay a little less, go to the UK when it looks a little bit attractive. I think people are very sort of driven about the market stats and, you know, where do I need to make it or break it? Or where do you guys get the market competence, and how do you sort of decide on which markets you go to? Is it an econometrics exercise or sort of a convenience sampling kind of thing?
Convenience sampling, yes. Well, first, to answer your question about recruitment, for example, to this Reima Go, of course, I take a person who comes from digital world, so I recruited from Fjord. First, made a project with her, and she proved right for the culture and so forth, and then the whole organization is actually working on it. So I don't want to have stars in that sense. It is the whole team that is working. Then marketing competence you can get buying outsourcing.
You think so?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I guess a lot of people here are then looking into this ultimate question of how do I know whether I'm doing a great job enough with the products and the services that I'm serving? How much icing do I need to have on the cake? Where does my authenticity and my concept and my product fly? And you said that the product is the best marketing, and you guys are lucky to have that situation and think so. How would you gauge, you know, whether your product is good enough, and how much marketing does it need? How much do you have to spend? You know, what would be your decision or thoughts processes be? Because I think that there's a lot of people out here who think they have great products, but they don't quite know whether they're good enough, and you know, how much marketing is needed on top. So.
Well, digital you can measure very well how much marketing, what works and what doesn't.
Experiment,
fail, test again, try again, come up.
Yeah, like digital connected products, like it is brutally data driven. Like you launch for a limited amount of audience, or even like a global audience, and you measure. And you just get like instant feedback, like daily sort of usage patterns and analytics of how much time people are spending, what are they doing, how much money they're spending. Like in gaming, for example, if you release a game and you get like maybe 2,500 people, like a daily cohort into the game, and 30 days later, if not more than 10%, 15% of those people are staying with the game, that game will probably not make any money in the long run.
Yeah, and I don't know if I answered this question, but I think there's a bit of a problem with having only people with success stories up on this panel stage, and there's a lot of Silicon Valley startup bonanza going on right now. I think once you start looking up companies, they're usually a lot older than you think. You think it's a new brand, but it turns out they've been around for 20 years. I think you can start a company and launch a product with absolutely no marketing money. If you do it small scale and more bootstrap, then just go talk to people in bars and give out freebies. You don't have to aim for the stars from the start. You can do it small scale.
Okay, but I wanted to ask this question, the same question from you. Did you guys do the constant experimentation practice, so that you try it out and then you see if it sells or see if it flies and adjust and go? And did you have that kind of approach?
No. It's more get the product out as fast as possible. We thought we'd make headphones in 3 months from from the pencil hitting the paper to the product landing in the stores, which was completely wrong.
I get this question all the time, that how do I make an efficient marketing machine without any money? And obviously there are ways. You mentioned bars, but is there something else that you could give out to the entrepreneur around here? And my advice is that before you hire a space and before you outsource the nasty admin, put all of the first money that you have available for your company into marketing. And then the next thing that you spend money on is a space and admin. You know, so there always needs to be a little money for the marketing. But what's your sort of advice to the people who are starting off with here, you know, asking the question, how do I do great, full of energy, you know, I have lots of friends, how do I make great marketing, I have no money?
I think the best advice is just talk to people and treat everyone with respect, because you never know which one, you know, creates the most rings on the water. You could talk to, you know, an annoying kid on the street, and it turns out his father is, you know, best friends with this guy, and that turns into the next big business deal. And I think it's really underestimated how small interactions can really create big effects, especially in a small scale business.
Yeah, but then you got to live your product, right? Then you can't have your personal me that has nothing to do with your life, you know, work life me. Then you need to be your work life you all the time and talk to everybody and live and breathe your headphones, right?
Yeah, talk to everyone on the subways with the headphones and make sure they understand how they work and they're happy.
Yeah. Cool. Ville?
In mobile, maybe I'm not sure if it also applies to applications, but like 40% of people who download games do it only based on like word of mouth and recommendations from their friends. So it's arguably like you could launch a product. You could just have a really good game, and you could get it like with some luck and right timing featured by Apple on the App Store and stuff like that. And then you'd have like the players recommend it and create like something really viral. And you see this happen in app stores. It's not like you can't. It is a very unreliable strategy to rely on. Like it can happen, but then if like you know that you need that word of mouth anyway, so all the marketing activity sort of needs to amplify that. Yeah. So even stuff like customer service, like you're servicing like kids who just like send you a rude message how your game sucks and they're never gonna play it again, and you try to like have them change their mind. Yeah. So it seems futile, but actually you're really working to massage the word of mouth.
I have a great example to come up with. On top of that, there's a commercial fishing boat out there that is on TripAdvisor 225 stars and none other stars. How they do is that their primary marketing activity is hunting down the people who were on the boat, caught fish, but didn't give a review. So they put in a lot of effort, like very systematic. Every day, the captain's second most important thing, in addition to doing finding a fish, right, is tracking down the people from the previous days who caught the fish but did not post the review. So there are mechanical ways of actually running the word of mouth thing if you know that you're going to need it anyway.
To your question about market, I think that the best thing is to do concepts or products that are so good that people just simply need them. It fulfills one of the needs.
Now, how do you calculate how much money you spend on the product engineering? You told me that you hid how much the 3 little stripes on the headphone socket actually cost, right? A plug. How do you then make it not get out of hand? You know, the designers and the product feature people, they wanna, you know, work on it forever.
Yeah, well, then you make a project and you make a milestones where you check that, okay, is this out of hands or not? And if it is, then sometimes it's worth taking the risk. Yeah. And for example, this Reima Go, we tested really. It's been in beta for 3 months, getting real-time data from consumers, how it's working, and we've been tweaking it before the launch and so forth. So,
do you have targets or metrics for desirability?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit, because that's something that people who bring out their products could do.
Yes, well, for us it's the loads of app, Reima Go app, and how much we sell the sensor. Yeah. But it's returning customers, first load and then returning customers to app.
Loads and returning customers, okay? Okay, so everybody can come up with their own metrics for desirability and only like produce products that are good enough for you guys, depending on your marketing resources.
Yeah, for us it's the same. It's retention. It's the people who keep playing the games
Yeah.
and keep spending time with them and keep coming back.
Yeah, and it's not only them rebuying your product, it tells you something uniquely relevant about the desirability of your product, not only the fact that how likely am I going to get the next cash flow from the same person.
Yeah.
It's also the thing that is it still in and cool and hip, and do I still believe in it? Is it imperishable, like we call it? Yeah.
Exactly.
What kind of measures do you have for the desirability of your stuff from combining sort of the product and the design and the marketing advantage?
I mean, for Urban Ears and the Sound Industries products, it's always sales numbers, and it comes down to like the general company's growth. But I think I don't have
For a non-numbers guy, that's a great answer, by the way.
It is, but sales are important because if you don't have any money, it's hard to have fun.
Yes, I'm liking him more by the minute. Okay, lastly, if you needed to spend 100 euros on developing your current company, you just got an extra 100 euros. Maybe you answered the question already, but if you got an extra, no, let's say 100,000 euros to advance design, marketing, branding globally, what would you spend it on? What do you think you're tight with and why?
Product, for sure. I have to spend it all in one basket, right?
Yeah, okay.
Product, but I would save 20 for packaging.
Okay, good.
I would just like splurge it on more testing. So we always like test. Just run like more like a ton of more creatives and test them.
The 100,000 I would push into Reima Go pipeline. It's a service platform that we are developing, so I put definitely there. 100 euros is more interesting question, and that I would put into sending Niklas a seeding package. How many kids?
16.
Okay. You get
Three of which you know of. Thanks a lot.